Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
Welcome to What's on Tap podcast. And as always, I am your gracious host, Stefan. And today we are once again joined by Karin.
Hello.
And Martin.
Hello.
And they have graciously agreed to be back on the show again. I feel like we go to this well quite often, and I really appreciate you guys coming back on here. Of course, I always enjoy your insights and opinions. That's why I keep asking you to be on the show.
Oh, thank you.
So, I guess welcome. Glad to have you here.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Really glad to be back. I'm just really sad that I missed the second year anniversary episode.
That was, it was nice to have. It was good to kind of take a moment to reflect, but I will admit that the beers that we chose were maybe not the best. It still used to have a really great selection of like modern times and other stuff, but when we were there just last week, it was like Pabst Blue Ribbon and 4 kind of run-of-the-mill Lagunitas, and their selection wasn't quite as interesting as it used to be.
That's a shame. But still, the episode, I missed that one.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was a great episode because some fun people were on. That were not me, but I enjoyed it.
No, but thank you for being on the show, as well as this Chantra, as always. She's lots of puns and jokes and double entendres and inappropriate comments galore. Yeah, for sure.
I feel like she needs to follow me around and sort of be my write down my whole life history in puns.
There you go.
I'd pay for that.
She would do that too, I'm sure, because she loves puns. It's kind of her favorite thing in the world. But today we have 2 IPAs that we're going to try. The first up is something from Lervig, the Norwegian brewer, and this is pure Lervig. They haven't collab-brewed with anyone, which feels like kind of a oddity for them. I think most of the stuff that feels like they've released recently has been a collaboration with someone. So Pearls Before Swine, or...
Perler for Svin?
Exactly. You want to try it as well?
Perler for Svin. So it's not before, it's...
Pearls for Swine.
Yeah.
Right, but that's a...
No, but it is the translation of Pearls Before Swine.
Yeah, it's a literal translation is Pearls for Swine, but in the American lexicon, it's Pearls Before Swine.
You present the pearls
right
in front of the swine.
Exactly.
Right. So this is actually an educational episode because I just learned something.
So this is...
We should have a jingle for that. More you know.
We should. Yeah. So this is a holy offering of Azaka, Mosaic, and Simcoe hops. Give this IPA a forbidden fruit juiciness. Enjoy our pearls.
They're sort of insulting us with the name.
So we are the swine, and they are serving us their pearls.
But we're learning. Are you our Mr. Rogers?
I can be. Welcome to my neighborhood.
Oh, that's great.
I'm so glad to have you today. This comes at 6.3% alcohol. At least it's not the pearl necklace before swine. So I feel like that's a bonus. All right, so...
Yeah. This started up on a high note.
It's that one.
That one.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
It looks like a New England IPA.
They both of our beers today probably fall into that hazy New England IPA category without being called as such.
Very hazy.
This smells very sweet, just on the nose.
Yeah.
Hoppy.
To me, it's not that hoppy.
You know what's hoppy?
No, but you have citrus hops in it.
Yeah.
Not lawnmower hops, but...
Yeah, it's not the grassy kind, but it's definitely more of a citrusy...
I'll twirl it.
All right.
Let's see.
Yeah, that'll always help.
A little bit.
Okay. Well, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, that was something else entirely.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know how to describe this. It's kind of sweet. It's got that kind of tea-ish, pale ale like flavor to it that I sometimes associate with IPAs.
Yeah.
Like a Earl Grey tea, kind of.
Yeah, but there is a citrusy tone to Earl Grey. The bergamot, that is actually a citrus fruit. Something I just learned a couple of days ago. So
this is just a real fact-finding episode right here.
yeah.
I didn't even know that a bergamot was a thing until just this moment. And now I still have to look it up.
That is the main taste of Earl Grey tea is bergamot citrus fruit.
Okay.
So, but it's not sweet and it's not tart, but yeah, it tastes like this.
It's a flavor enhancer.
Something
Kind
like
of.
that.
All right.
The aftertaste in this one, to me, really has this lemonade feeling. Like 2 big jugs of lemonade in the middle of summer. That kind of feeling. So, lemon lemonade, basically.
All right. I get something else. I get something artificial. Maybe gasoline. No, that's not artificial, but...
For me, it just is a really dry finish.
Yeah.
And just kind of just dies the minute you finish it. So you got this little bit of a toastiness, maybe. But it's not a lingering
No, it's gone
flavor.
now.
Yeah.
It's gone now.
Kind of hits. You're like, this is really juicy. And then you swallow it, hits, and just dry. You're like, okay, that's...
No, I still have it.
Do you?
But yeah, if you let it linger even longer, it becomes a gasoline sort of exhaust.
Okay, is this a good thing or a bad thing?
No, that's a bad thing.
Okay,
So,
I would equate it with a bad thing, but I wasn't sure how to interpret that.
so like
This
when
should
when you douse your nose with nasal spray because you're stuffed,
Yeah.
and some of it gets in the back of your throat, like that.
So post-sinus drip. That's how you want to equate this.
Yeah, that was a pretty word.
I'm a little bit disappointed in this. It doesn't have that hoppy kick that I was hoping for. I wasn't expecting a lot of alcohol flavor, and I wasn't expecting a lot of... I was expecting an American IPA, and this doesn't really reach that level.
Okay.
I just looked under the can, and it's not old.
No, this just came out in System Log like a week ago. Or maybe 2 weeks ago. I can't... about a week ago, yeah.
Just before the episode started, we were talking about this particular beer. I have tried it before, I think at Mikkeller Beer Copenhagen Celebration. And I remember... I had to look up my rating, but I remember it as fruitier and more hop forward.
And that could... but did you have it on can or did you have it on tap?
On tap, for sure.
Yeah, that could be a huge difference in the experience as well. In the way it's presented and the way that it gets aerated through the lines and stuff. I find it pleasant enough. It's a decent IPA. I could easily see buying a couple more cans of this and having on a Tuesday.
But it's nobody's favorite, but it doesn't offend anyone, so...
I definitely wouldn't call it a favorite by far. I think it's very serviceable, pleasant, hazy IPA. Because they're definitely not saying it's a New England style. But they are using oat malt and flaked oat.
Yeah, that accounts for the haziness.
Oh, for sure. All right, so Karin, what would you give this?
3.25.
3.25.
3 flat. And
3 flat.
And I gave it a 3.75 last time.
Okay. I think I'm going to go with around a 3.25 as well. I definitely think it's a bit better than middle of the road, but it's just not blowing me away either. Okay, so moving on. Next up, we have the Child of Mine Child in Time, not Child of Mine. That would be a Guns N' Roses song.
That was the worst impression of the start of
Sweet Child of
Mine
Mine,
You want to try it again? You want to
No, I don't.
go
I
for
really
a take
don't.
two? I feel like if you're given the time to really get into it, you could produce something.
Just listen to it in your head.
You could air guitar nation that shit all the hell. Go.
No, I made a big fool of myself. I want to stop right here and cut my losses.
Okay.
Because I thought that was dueling banjos.
Maybe everything is dueling banjos inside my head.
I was in a restaurant the other day and they were playing dueling banjos, and I'm like, what?
You guys are so uneasy about that scene.
No, it's just.
Were you a long way from home, boy?
No, I am technically, but it was just like a weird song to hear on a radio in a bar in Sweden. It's like, why would you play dueling banjos? All right. So, Child in Time is a crypto hop IPA, and Karin will come back to you with questions about what crypto hopping means, because
I don't know.
shh, it's not important. 7.4% alcohol by volume. and it's 3.3 UK units. So if you're measuring your UK unit intake of 3 to 4 units a day per man and 2 to 3 units per day per woman, now you know how many units you're getting.
Yeah.
Best before March 3rd, 2019.
Cool. Well,
I doubt it will last that long.
Crypto hopping is when you hop it afterwards when the beer is dead.
Okay.
No, I don't.
I would think crypto would do something with the cold, maybe, or
To me,
that's
crypto has such a weird connotation. There's so many different. This is not making this political, but crypto.
I'm saying the word wrong. It's cryo. It's CRY.
Cryo.
Come
It's
on.
cryo. So
I was going to go so deep with crypto communism.
My mind is putting in peas where they don't belong. No, it's cryo hop IPA. It's got Centennial Cryo, Amarillo Cryo, and Citra Cryo.
So that's basically frozen hops.
I would assume so. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that we understand that I'm an idiot, I don't think that was really a surprise to anyone.
Before we taste it, I want to just make my Wylam point now.
All right, make your point.
Where I love Wylam IPAs. Mm-hmm. They're so good. I try to find them wherever I can.
Yep.
But my beginning with Wylam was really rocky, where I didn't like the brewery at all. And when I thought about it now, after having all the IPAs, I only tried their strange other styles, like their macchiato porter and their wheat beer called Häxan, which is a Swedish word. And they were just like 2 out of 5, 1.75 out of 5. It's like, no, this brewery is really bad. And then I tried the IPAs. 4, 3.75, 4.25.
Did you try the Jekyll and Hyde?
I don't remember.
Well, it's a Demola and Wylam's collab where they made a chocolate stout of some sort.
That does sound tasty.
I did not care for it. I ended up dumping it. But I know a lot of people have really enjoyed it. Maybe I just got a bad can, but it was pretty horrendous.
Okay.
It was hard to drink.
So for me, like low alcohol porters and wheat beers and stuff have a really difficult time to impress me. And those were the only styles I had from Wylam before I got into the IPA. So I'm really interested in this one.
Yeah, and their IPAs have been unbelievable. I think this might be the second or third, or maybe the third or fourth, actually, Wylam's that we reviewed on the show. And every time it's just been an amazing experience. So,
have you already smelled while I
have cheated.
babbled?
I get orange and cedarwood from this. Maybe some lily of the valley.
Orange and grass for me.
I don't get grass.
I get the grass and I get the cedar kind of, depending on how you interpret that smell. It could be one or the other. It's not like the lawnmower clipping style, but it is in that kind of wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from. But yeah, since you said cedar first, that's where I'm like, oh yeah, no, I totally get cedar.
Yeah, but you don't get fresh grass. I think what you get is hay.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, yeah. That's... All right, well, cheers, guys.
Oh, cheers. Yeah.
This is much more bitter than I was expecting.
Yeah, but this is so much better than the Powerful Svin.
Yeah?
I really think so. This kind of juicy, fruity hoppiness that's very characteristic of a New England IPA is very prevalent here.
Well, what's funny is I get more of the gasoline kind of flavors you were talking about off of this than I did from the Perler for Svin.
I'm really interested here because I don't think I know how to detect a gasoline flavor. What is it that you mean? I'm trying to learn here.
I guess it kind of falls in that cabbagey, vegetable-y kind of flavor.
It happens in the aftertaste.
But then the fumes from the ABV, I think, throw in that gasoline-y kind of feel. It's not like a hot alcohol heat, but there is like this bit of a back note of alcohol fumes.
Are we talking about hop burn?
No. No.
There is some hop burn in this, but I've really grown to like
no, but hop burn is early in the.
Yeah, I didn't get hop burn at all on this.
Maybe I'm maybe I don't know what real hop burn is. For me, hop burn is an aftertaste burning sensation.
No, it's the actress who did Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Oh, no. You tried to do a Chantra,
I did.
and she's not here,
She
so she
isn't,
can't
so-
correct you.
Sorry, Chandra. But we all have different taste receptors, and if
Yeah.
you don't get
Yeah.
it, then you don't get it. But it's in the aftertaste. It's way back in your throat. It's like when you start pumping gas an early cold morning.
Oh, but I completely get the burning aftertaste, but I associate it with a fruity hoppiness.
I get kind of the fruitiness, but it's like a spoiled fruit kind of. It's not like a fresh, ripe fruit.
Yeah, you have a point there.
I get the
But-
feeling that we're gonna have wildly different ratings for this one, because I really like it, and I'm
It's
not
like-
getting that from you at all.
It's like spoiled apricots.
But spoiled apricots get sweeter. This is sort
No,
of,
this is like after they've gone past their.
yeah, don't eat them at that point. Yeah,
But-
but this is more like maybe it's the fruit that hasn't ripened yet.
Yeah? Yeah, I think we're going to have a wildly different take on this.
Yeah, but it's not that I dislike it. There are just new flavors to me. I haven't had this in a beer before. I haven't had this beer before, so
Oh, I'm gonna be the outlier.
All right, Martin, so you're so excited about this one. What do you think?
A 4.
A 4. All right.
cool. 3.5.
I think I'm going to have to give this like a 3.25. I think this is about on the same level as the Pearls for Swine, but just on a slightly different reason.
Okay, so I was expecting you to go much lower, based on your
No. This is not a-
rotten cabbage and spoiled fruit.
This is not a garbage beer. This is a perfectly serviceable IPA. I just think I've had so many Wylam beers that have just blown me away with their flavor and their mouthfeel, but this one just isn't hitting those notes like I usually get from a really good Wylam ale.
To me, this is actually the Wylam house flavor. This is what I expect from them.
Yeah?
This is the way I remember previous Wylam beers. They usually end up in the 4 range.
Well, see, what happened was I had this one beer from them called Midnight Train to Biker, and it blew me away. It was like a 5 out of 5
Wow.
just right out the gate. It was unfreaking believable. Just like juicy and fruity and just everything you wanted from a hazy IPA. And this just isn't I know they can do better, and I've had probably 5 to 10 of their beers that are much, much better than this. And this just isn't reaching the standard that I expect from them. So it could be holding them to an unjustified, level, but I just know that they can do better.
Cool.
But does that mean you can't actually do a isolated fair rating of this beer?
I feel like I am doing an isolated fair rating of this beer because it's not just I think they can do better, but I just don't think this is a particularly good beer. I mean, like a great beer.
Are you sure about that? Is there not some cognitive dissonance going on here? If I just, hey, here's an IPA I just bought. Want to try it? And you didn't know it was Wylam.
I'd be like, it's okay.
But you have, no, don't you think there's an air of disappointment in you right now?
No, I don't think so. I think this is a perfectly fine IPA.
All right.
And that's
If
why
you
I
say
gave
so.
it a 3.25. I mean, I even if I tasted this, I'd be like, it's okay. I mean, I don't particularly like the bitterness at the end. I think that it comes off a little harsh. I don't find the mouthfuls particularly interesting. I don't like the overall flavors that particularly much. But it's not horrible. It's not like a drain pour. But I mean, I wouldn't get it again.
All right.
If I'm allowed to interpret your question, Karin,
Please.
I don't think you're trying to put Stefan on the spot.
No.
I think you're trying to bring up a broader question, like how biased are we when we drink beer? Like, we know Wylam can do some amazing stuff. So you already said that we are holding them up to that level of
a higher standard.
The higher standard. So if we were to say, oh, this is a new IPA from an up-and-coming, struggling a struggling brewery, they're just making ends meet, and they've finally made it onto the bigger market, we might be saying, oh yeah, it's not really hitting the highest notes, but it's a really good effort. Wow.
No, and that happens every time, and there is personal bias. And I think, like, when you get a beer from, say, McKellar or The Vale or Trillium or Monkish, you do have this certain expectation of what you're about. Like, oh, I'm about to get, like, a treat, so I'm bracing myself to have something really amazing. And then when it doesn't hit those notes, you're kind of like, oh, that's too bad. But then at the same time, if someone like a Spike or a Microphone or, I don't even Dry and Bitter maybe, that are still kind of up and coming and they're trying to establish themselves in the market, when they come in and they put out a better than average ale, you're like, oh wow, this is amazing for this brewery that still is trying to find its feet. So yeah, there is always a element of bias in these things whenever you're trying something, and it is about personal taste and about personal preferences and how your receptors are interpreting the beer. What is the temperature at the time you're trying it? Is it a little too cold? Is it a little too warm? Maybe, so that kind of shapes how you feel about it. So, but I mean, you can still be critical and objective about the experience that you're having without bringing all of that extra stuff into it, if you really want to be.
Yeah, I think you're right, but I do think that everyone has bias.
Oh, of course.
But this is a skill that we've honed, trying not to have that bias.
Yeah, I mean, we're all master takers here, and we've all tried a lot of beers. So I think that when you get a bad beer from a very established brewer, you're like that Honey Nut Yepios that we got from Evil Twin that was just like sugar in a glass. It was liquid sugar. It was horrible, and we all ended up pouring it out. I mean, it was just garbage. I mean, clearly didn't like try to talk up the fact that, oh, we think this is an amazing beer because it's from Evil Twin. It was a dumpster fire. It was horrible.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that we've all had enough beers and tried enough beers from different breweries that we can be, objective, even if we do have expectations around a certain thing.
I like the picture you're painting that we are these objective, super intelligent expert tasters.
I didn't say we're super intelligent.
I read that into your concept.
It's implied.
And very handsome and successful and
sexy and debonair and people love us. People want to be us. I mean, it's all implied.
Want to fuck us or want to be us.
Yeah. But I do know that I know that I rate beers higher if I'm in a good mood before I approach the beer, as opposed to if I'm in a bad mood. I know that it's a fact.
I think that's a fact for everyone, though. I mean, that's what kind of day you had can affect like how you feel about when you approach beer. It's like you get something, you're like, it's a cold day, your feet are wet because you've been walking in the rain, you're not feeling all that great, and you have a beer and you're like, ugh, this is not that great. But then another day, that same beer, like London's Pride. London's Pride can be the best beer or the worst beer, depending on the day and the weather and your experiences and exactly what your needs and how does that beer meet those needs. That's all I got. I ran out of steam.
So the summary is we are the most objective, competent tasters ever, and we are the least competent, least objective ever.
Sure.
But we are aware of our weaknesses anyway.
Yes.
That has to be good for something.
Yeah, that's important.
We are aware of our foibles, and we are working to overcome them and course correct for that.
Wow, now you are Mr. Rogers.
Thank you. That's what I shoot for. Did we all review this one? I gave it a... Yeah, we all reviewed this. Okay, good. Anything else you want to share or feelings about these beers and tasting and experiences?
I got to give my Wylam spiel.
All right.
Yeah, and like you said, they were good IPAs. Nothing to maybe shoot for the moon, but yeah.
I like Lervig quite a bit. I think they do really good stuff normally. Some of their IPAs I think have been outstanding. Some of their stouts have been unbelievable. Wylam's I think usually puts out an amazing IPA, hands down. Of course, they can't all be winners. The what do you have the other night? The pineapple and something one.
Yeah, the one on Bishop's Arms. Yeah.
yeah, it was okay. But they also, they all can't all be winners. As you said.
Oh, sorry.
Sure, go ahead.
Can I give you a lesson in Swedish real quick?
Sure.
The way you say Lervig, if you just say it like that, a Swede's gonna hear furry.
That's exactly what I was going for. Is it furry like the people that wear the costumes and like do cosplay?
No, like an animal would be furry.
Oh, okay.
No, it's the people who wear the costumes.
I was hoping it was that one, not the.
No, we just call them
people
furries.
being hairy. Furries, so you use the.
No, we don't call them Lervig. We don't call those people Lervig. We call them furries.
Okay, so you use the common vernacular on that.
Yeah.
All right, we can get to yipping in the next episode.
Fuck it.
So thanks for joining, guys, and I really appreciate you being here. You can find us online at what'sontappodcast.com, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify. Matthias usually does this, so I always have a problem with it. And in YouTube and wherever fine podcasts are found. So until next time, guys.
Oh, I haven't spoiled this is the first episode where I haven't spoiled the catchphrase.
I thought you'd be on that, man, but you just...
I didn't spoil it.
Karin, you want to do?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Drink up, you dum-dums.
All right. Close, but we'll work on that for